everybody, and welcome to another episode of Misha B with the C. So today I have a special guest in the building with me today. Her name is Nia Shepherd, but you all may know her as Nia Simone. Nia is the founder of LustLashes and What's the Word podcast. So Nia, what's going on? How are you? Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hello, world. Well, thank you. I just want to start off and say thank you, Misha B with the T, for having me on this lovely YouTube channel or show. So I'm gonna just tell y'all a little bit about myself. I am from Greensboro, North Carolina. My name is Nia Shepherd, like Misha stated before, but I go by Nia Simone because we already speaking a stage name into existence. So I go by Nia Simone. I am the owner and CEO of LustLashes by Nia Simone. So I started that. I always wanted to, because I actually came into ENT with intending on being a business major, but I was like, let me switch gears. I'm not really good with math, so let's go ahead and go to journalism PR. So that's what I did. And then I always wanted to own a business. So here we are with LustLashes. Is going on almost 2 years. And just recently, this past May of 2020, that's when I started my podcast. And yeah.
Yay, exciting. So what inspired you to, start your businesses? Like what made Nia say, you know what, I'm gonna start LustLashes by Nia Simone and I'm gonna do What's the Word podcast? Like, how was that whole process?
So starting my lash business, like I stated before, I always wanted my own business. So I was like, I'm really into beauty and fashion, but fashion, I didn't feel like selling clothes. So I was like, okay, so let me go to beauty. Makeup, I really don't wear makeup like that. I know I could throw on some lashes and I know I like lashes. So I was like, okay, let me get into the lash industry. I did my research, which I should have did a little bit more research, but we're going to keep it there. And, I took my course. I started with my Instagram page and boom, I went on from there. Now it was a trying journey of, being where I'm at now, but I just encourage people to do your research. Now, when it comes to my podcast, I wanted to start off with a vlog on YouTube, but I was just like, I never have enough storage on my phone. Like, I'm always taking pictures.
Yeah.
Snap it up. Hey, let me video record. That's me. I love memories and capturing the moment. So
right.
I was like, okay, that don't work. So then I started seeing people doing podcasts. I'm like, what is this? Like, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So I was like, cool. So I started doing PSAs on campus, 90.1 WNAA, that's our radio station on campus. So I started to do PSAs, which is, public service announcement, Jay-Z, Hove, period. I'm just playing, but yeah. So I started doing that just to get my, articulation or however you say that word right, and making sure, I'm emphasizing certain words. So that kind of helped me with being the host I am today. And of course, I want to shout out to my mentor and Gail for helping me, learn with Adobe Audition and stuff like that, because that really helped me start my podcast as well. So, I started writing stuff down in my notebook. And I was like, okay, so this is what I want my podcast to be centered around. This is going to be my theme. This is how I'm going to deliver it to the people. I had to figure out if I'm going to do it every week, every other week. Boom, in May, I say, you know what, I can't. I'm done writing. I just got to do something. So then I started to record. Didn't like the first record and didn't sound like myself. So then I did another record on my intro and it just flowed. So yeah, I've been doing that since May. So that's a little bit about why I wanted to start.
Yay. Period. So, okay. So what was it like finding your niche? So I know sometimes we go through that whole phase and it's like, I don't know what I want to do, what I'm good at. Should I do it? So like, how was it finding your niche? Like, what was that whole process like?
That's a good question. Finding my niche. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of touch base on my podcast. So really just figuring out what I really want to do, what I really enjoy doing, and what I do on an everyday basis without even thinking of it. And it kind of taps into my passion, if you get what I'm saying. So I know that I laugh. I know that sometimes I'm loud. And I know that I can talk your head off and we can have good dialogue. So I was just like, why not have my own show of my own. And then
Right.
plus journalism, so they'll be good in my portfolio. And then I'm passionate about it, so if I have an interview like this, or just an interview for an internship, I can always relay it back to my podcast. Mm-hmm. So that's how I kind of found my niche, and just looking at different people shows. Like, I know Little Mo inspired me with her podcast, $1 Million Worth of Game, because they are like very informal, give it to you raw, real uncut. And I was just like, okay, so I kind of flow with this. So
okay, that's dope. So how did you come up with the name What's the Word podcast and LustLashes by Nia Simone? Like, what was that process like? Because I know that can be a whole trying thing, like trying to find a name. So, and What's the Word is pretty, dope, it's unique. And I'm just like, okay, well, how'd she figure that out? What was the process behind that?
Yeah, so with my lashes, LustLashes, honestly, it was very difficult coming up with that name, especially with a lash brand name, because everybody is meat, everybody is lashed by such and such and stuff like that. So I was just like, you know what, I want people lusting for my lashes. I want people to crave and want to come and get their lashes done. So that's how I kind of got with that. Now, my podcast, I was inspired by Martin Lawrence on The Martin Show, because at first, he was on the radio. What's up? He was on the radio, but then he transitioned to being a television talk host. That was called Word on the Street. And that was very informal. He had different guests, from authors to singers, rappers, just everyday people come on and just talk. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. And he was very informal. It wasn't like a Oprah, or it wasn't like a Wendy Williams. It was like right there in the middle, where it was still Martin and not too television, quote unquote. So I was like, okay, I kind of like that. And then the whole 90s theme, because that's basically when Martin came out, in the whole 90s theme. So I was like, yeah, I like that era. I like the show. I like the name. So I kind of put my own twist on it and called it What's the Word.
Okay, a little background on What's the Word. So you had mentioned, like, everybody had the name something with mink or something with lash by. So how do you differentiate your brands from everybody else's? How do you separate or set apart LustLashes by Nia Simone and What's the Word podcast by everybody else? Because, a lot of people have lash business and a lot of people have podcasts. So what makes your stuff, different?
So speaking of that, podcast, I didn't realize, like I said, sometimes you got to do a little extra more research. I didn't realize a lot of people podcast was titled What's the Word. So kind of what I do with mine, with both my podcast page and my lash page, is the content that I post on my pages. Like, it's consistent content and it's my signature content. So like on my podcast page, it's like the background, like very edgy, very graffiti like. That's me when you see me. Now on my LustLashes page, I have like a black background, and then like the wording is kind of like in cursive.
So you also do like a track and theme, with your What's the Word podcast. So talk to us a little bit more about, what that is.
So with the whole track thing, I decided to do an album, because that's going back to your last question. That kind of differentiates me from other people. A lot of people not doing their podcasts like that. Some people are doing chapters, like Trapped in a Closet. I'm doing a CD. So every episode is going to be a track, and like eventually I plan on doing an interlude, because on most CDs they have an interlude. And then like I start off with an intro. It's always an intro to the CD. So I remember starting off my podcast in May. That's how I kind of compared like a CD intro to the intro I had on my podcast. So I was like, you know what, I can kind of brand it and make that into my CD or whatever. And what also inspired me was Mary J. Blige, her sophomore album, My Life. So I'm kind of basically the album is called My Life, and it's kind of going through my album of my life, not Mary J. Blige's album. My season 2 of my podcast is kind of basically, business owners, college, hiccups, relationships, all that. So it's all that in one.
So with college, so you are a college student. So like, how are you finding time to balance, being a business owner of two businesses? I repeat, two, not one, but you got two businesses. And you're in school. So how are you like balancing everything? How are you keeping your head afloat, through all this stuff you got going on?
Yeah, honestly, just taking it one day at a time and being organized. Like right now I have my planner. I need to get back on it. So basically I have my planner, and then I have certain days with my podcast that I record, just depending on me and the guests. And then I have certain days where I edit. So I edit, between Wednesday and Thursday, get my flyers done by Tuesday, have them uploaded Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then have my podcast uploaded on Friday. Now with my lash page, I do have a booking website, so that helped me tremendously, because starting off, I was taking everybody by DM, responding and all that, and then I have, I had to go to class at the time because I started my sophomore year, so that's when, pre-COVID. So I, was going to class, responding, and that was a lot within itself. So I say, let me take this load off of me and let's go ahead and have this booking website. So that's why I just say, get you a planner, a notebook, jot stuff down. I also have a whiteboard too that really helps me right on my door. So if you want to walk out this room, girl, you better see it. It's no excuse. So yeah, that's how
no excuse. No excuse. So like, do you ever experience like creative roadblocks, like, what should I do next type of issues? And if you do, how do you overcome that?
Definitely, especially when I'm writing, even though we're not talking about writing, that's when I kind of have my creative blocks. Mostly, I would say creating content sometimes. That's when I have my little creative block. But when it comes to my topics on my podcast, I really don't, because anytime I have, let me just say this, no idea is a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? So anything that I'm kind of thinking of, or I think, okay, dang, somebody going through this right now because I'm going through it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing I had to realize in life. Just because I'm going through it, that don't mean nobody else going through it. So basically anything that, like I said, I have a planner, but I also have, even though it's a little messed up right now, I need some idea journal that I jot down things. So anything that comes to mind at that exact moment, I either write it in my notes in my phone, or I write it in my journal and just kind of go from there.
Okay, I like that. Very organized and very, just driven. During this time of COVID and, everything that's going on, what keeps you motivated to just keep doing what you're doing?
Honestly, just knowing that, just having favor over your life. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people that may be watching it may not be spiritual like me, but just knowing that all this hard work will pay off one day. That's what's kind of keeps me going every other day. It's just, I know that one day it will all pay off. Like, I'm building a legacy for my kids. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of look at it.
So what are some things that you wish you knew before you had started your podcast or your lash business? Because I know before you said, you wish you had done a little bit more research. So could you go into a little bit, could you explain a little bit more about that?
I wish I would have known, especially with my lash business, a little bit more on how to do lashes. So I should have, watched more videos on YouTube, asked around before I just jumped to the first person who I thought, would be good, would instructed me. And just, maybe reading more business books, how to target my audience a little bit more, right. Branding, because that's something I had to learn over time. It's just more than posting a flyer. It's, are you going to run specials? Are you going to have loyalty cards? If you're a new client, you get $10 off your set. Like, what are you going to do other than just having, because that's what keeps the people going. But when it pertains to my podcast, I just wish starting off, I wasn't so hard on myself when it came to content and stressing out and stuff, because honestly, I don't know if people know, my first official episode I had the people on mobile call because my connection was terrible, and I just had them recording off my mic. So, you know, I was just so hard on myself because I was just like, oh, it's going to sound crazy. Like, you know, like when Keisha Cole was on the Versus battle and they said it looked like she had an Android. That's how I felt. I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? But then again, I was like, my theme is 90s, throwback radio. So it could sound like a radio call, like, you know, back in the day. So it's mine, so own it. Like, it's nobody else's. You know what I'm saying? It's not a company that I work for. It's not a peer that I'm working with on their project. It's mine, so own it.
Definitely. And nobody will know you messed up unless you make it known that it's a mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like, only you know, like, dang, like, this gonna sound good. But for your audience, they might not see it as that. They might, oh, this is dope. This is dope. Because I thought the first episode was dope. I didn't know you felt that way about your first episode until you just made it known. So, you know, where do you see yourself 10 years from now? Like, what do you see for yourself and for your business?
So 10 years from now, because I'm 20, so that I'll be 30. I definitely see myself in the industry, in the entertainment industry. I definitely see myself having some experience with different networks. I definitely see myself gaining some experience with different people in the industry, hosting wise. Like, even though Lala doesn't host anymore, I would love to work with her, Angie Martinez, even Angela Yee, even though some people don't like her, I like her. And I just hope to have my interview with Taraji P. Henson. Pertaining to my business, Lashes, I definitely hope Lashes is still in 10 years from now, because I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But if it is, then I see myself owning my own business, like my own building, and having other people, you know, come in, do lashes, do nails, you know, just have a beauty bar.
So what advice would you give to people, you know, who want to start a business and who are just starting out, you know, fresh, you know, just like you were at one point in time?
Number one, I'm gonna say this and keep saying it, is do your research. Definitely do your research, and definitely just jot stuff down to figure out, you know, what you like and what you don't like. So I encourage people to just do that. Trust the process and don't rush. Don't rush anything, because your timing is your timing. Misha timing is different from my timing. And we may accomplish something at the same time, but the timing is different. So just because she's excelling, she may be able to help me. You know what I'm saying? But your timing is your timing. You got to trust the process. That's why I said I have to trust the process. I'm in my own race. I ain't racing with nobody else. I don't see nobody. Because one thing when I ran track way back when in middle school, they said you looking at the person behind you, you gonna slow up. So you got to keep straight. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at Sally Mae beside you and Lil Jon. You can't look at them, because that's them. What worked for them is what worked for them. And that's another thing with lashing is too, in different products. What may work for one lash tag may not work for you. And just like with podcasting, something that like they may do a little segment in their show that may work for them may not work for you. You just you put your own spin to it, because if you be you, you stay you, and nobody can't do it like you. Nobody's going to be able to do it like you. Period. So.
And that's just on period. Not only are you a business owner and you were my friend before anything, you are also my cousin, and I am genuinely proud of you. You know, keep going, keep doing what you're doing. I wish nothing but success. You know, I'm your number one fan, so keep doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you, and and we're gonna be successful, and we gonna do it. We're gonna do what we got to do and get where we got to go, and that's just period. So
I definitely want to say I'm also proud of you, and thank you for saying that to me, because sometimes I often feel like but I already know that you always gonna post, and my mom gonna always post. So you know, same reciprocated energy here. Definitely proud of you for, you know, starting your YouTube channel, and you got over 100 views on your first video. Let's go ahead and get that first video, not the second, not the third, first place. Second to none. So I just want to say that I'm proud of you, and keep going, keep striving, girl, because look, the industry right around the corner, baby.
I'm proud of you. Like I said before, I wish you nothing but success and love. Would you like to plug your social media, so if people want to, you know, go and check you out, definitely feel free?
Definitely. My personal Instagram page is NSIMONE_. My lash page is LustLashes by Nia Simone, just like that. No underscores, no numbers. And my podcast page is WT Word Podcast _.
All right. So with that being said, make sure y'all check out my girl podcast, Lash Business, and personal Instagram. She is dope. She is it. She's creative. And Nia, I just appreciate you for coming on here with me today. Thanks for watching, guys. See you guys the next time.